part of the Taming tension section. And let me just get it up. City. All right, so for the last part, it is releasing your tension, which will focus on like the daily stress of like your life and how to like deal with that and how to like relieve your own tension like in yourself and your life. And the main verse that the author put in this chapter was to be still and know that I am God, Psalms 46:10. So first we're gonna talk about stress. So I'm sure none of us are like new to this word because well, each of us have our own things that we stress about or, things that cause stress in us. So one of the main ones that come to mind are like school or work or just like personal issues that take up a person's mind or like their time. And personally, school is one of my biggest stressors in life. Not even work, but yeah, that's like my main one that causes me stress, which is like with this chapter it helped a lot in like identifying ways to relieve stress. And the next few steps are about taking time for yourself because it's beneficial to like take a second and breathe for a bit because we all know that life happens so fast. Like even now, like we're all going back to work or we're still working or at school and all that stuff. So nothing's really paused anymore. So now's the time to kind of take a time and learn of the ways to relieve this stress. And one of the first ways the author talks about is to take a deep breath. So um, in the book, she put deep breaths relaxes you because it lowers your heart rate and circulates extra oxygen to various parts of your body. So like how I mentioned, days go by fast. We're doing all sorts of activities or all sorts of work or homework. So it's important to take that second and take a deep breath because sometimes we don't realize how tense we are. Because I know that happens to me, especially when I'm thinking of all the assignments I have to do, or when I look at like in college, they give you everything in the beginning, so you know what's coming up. So when I look at my syllabus and when I look at the schedule, I just start to stress myself out thinking, oh, like, I'm gonna have to do this. Or, like, if it's a presentation, especially, like, I read it and I'm already stressing over it and I don't even start the assignment, which is ironic because you would think stressing over it will make you want to do it earlier, but that's just not me. But, so taking a second, some people might think that it's like a waste of time. At least I did. This is something I feel with this personally, because this section I feel like spoke to me the most, because I'm like known for being like really tense and not knowing how to relax. Like that's just not me. I don't know why. But sometimes I would think that taking a second away from my things is like wasting my time. Like I'm counting down the minutes. Like oh, like this hour I wasted taking a break. I could have used it to like do extra work, but it's not wasting time. It's thinking about your body and thinking about yourself. And once you come back from that break, you never know that you could like do more or like you're able to work even better because you have a clear mind now. So the second point is how can you take a deep breath? So it's to breathe deeply. So in the book, she puts to inhale rather loudly and slowly through your nostrils, mouth closed, counting to 10. Fill your diaphragm area as if it were a balloon. Exhale slowly through your mouth, making a hissing sound through your teeth together. So when I first read it, it seemed like kind of, not cringy, well, kind of cringy to me, because I was like, oh, like, you're breathing all weird, like, but the point of breathing in loudly and making that sound when you exhale is because you're taking in, you're breathing in deeply, if that makes any sense. But if you're like in an area where you can't practice it like this exactly, like breathing in very loud and letting it out really loud. So the way that I like to do it, at least before bed, is I would like to like breathe in, and then when I breathe out, I like make a huge sigh, like just like relieving myself. So like if that's something that you want to do on your own, in your own like space, then that's like better. But if you can't do it in private, if you're like in an area like maybe at work and you're feeling that tension, then just take a few seconds to breathe in, breathe out, and then you'll probably feel a lot better because I know I do. So hopefully that can help you feel better when everything's going crazy. And in the book, she mentions to do it about 5 to 10 times a day, but that's just depending on how you're feeling. So if you're having like a really bad day, like tense day, then take those extra seconds to do the exercise. And then one of the things that helped me realize to do this, because I do this a lot, is like when I used to have the Apple Watch. It has this thing where it'll remind you daily to like take a breath. And sometimes I'll ignore it. I'll just like clear the notification and not do it because I'm like, nah, it's a waste of time. But it'll just continue to remind you every day. Like, I think you could put it how you want, but at least for me, I put it so that it bothers me, so that it can motivate me to take those seconds. So, as it continues to notify me, I'm just like, okay, fine, I cave in. I'll do the exercise. I'll breathe in, breathe out. And then I notice that, I feel a lot better. I feel more like relieved and less. I realize how tense I was, and after I do it, I realize how better I feel about it, how better I feel afterwards. So another thing that's like helpful with like stress or tension, she mentions to squeeze a stress ball or gadget, and then her other one was to like blow a whistle. So to talk about the first one, it's when you have like a stress ball or those specifically, you squeeze it, simply squeezing it tightly as you'd like to relieve your tension. So for some people, they like to have it. I know it's like a lot of things for like office jobs, because probably they're going through like a lot of stress with a lot of paperwork and all that. So they'll like just keep it with them every time and just have it in their hand. And whenever they feel the tension rise up, and they'll like squeeze it as they do. And then for the blowing a whistle, the author mentions that she does this in like her car, because like when you're driving, like it's also sometimes a stressful thing because people are like unpredictable. So she'll have it with her in her car. So when she feels like yelling at people, or when she wants to just like honk at every person, she'll take a second and just like get her whistle out and whistle it in, and blow the whistle in her car. So like that's up to y'all what y'all want to do. And I put a few pictures in here. Oh my gosh, I didn't take this off. Did it go? No. Of like different types of things that help people relieve stress, or like the main one is like the stress ball, right? Because you're like squeezing you're just squeezing it, like it feels good. But another one, it's like things that you could fidget with, and like one of the popular ones now is the one in the middle where you just like poke the holes. And one of the ones that I used to have was that cube, where it has like different things on every side that you just like have in your hand, and like you play with each side. So I know like for a lot of people, when they're nervous, they like to have these things. I know I did, because like when you like present, you like to like fidget with things because they're nervous, right? So like, but also when you're stressed, it can help relieve it. Just kind of messing around with it and not going into like other like bad habits. Like some people might bite their nails, or like I know for me, it's like messing with my fingers. So like those are like bad habits that need to be broken. But these are helpful ways to not go into like harming yourself, or doing other things that might hurt you. And the next thing is to self-massage. So to learn to massage your tense areas yourself. So if you don't have the time, or maybe the money, to like go to somebody, to get that massage and kind of take time to relax, which is a dream of mine. It's also kind of important to learn about ways to do it yourself, so like at home. And one way to do it is like, there's a lot of videos, like YouTube, it's got everything in there. Or go to like a professional, which is ideal, right? Because that person can help you kind of pinpoint what are your areas, and what way can you help yourself. And then I've also found this one like personally helpful, because I get tense like around my neck, like right here in the back, but when like it's going crazy. But it happens very quick for me. But I found ways to like relieve it, like kind of like massage the area, and like um, take time to do that because, it helps out, or like, just identifying the places that you get tense yourself. So like that could be helpful too. And then the last one is to sing. So a biblical example of this is for Paul and Silas. So Silas, yeah, whatever. In Acts 16:25, it says, about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. So later in 1 Thessalonians, Paul mentions to rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Jesus Christ. So in this example in Acts, they were put in prison, and, they were beaten, thrown in prison. So, there was a lot for them to be like stressed out about or tense about, like the situation that they were in. But they chose to, sing to God and like worship him in that time of distress, so to say. And it's funny enough because I feel like this chapter was made from it. But this is also another way that I like to relieve my stress. What I'll, like my way of doing it kind of is I'll put, depending on how I'm feeling, it'll either be like a slow worship song or like a really hyped up one. But, I'll just like go in the shower and put up the music as loud as I want and like sing as if nobody was hearing me, because like that's just my way to like pour it out. And then the better way is to do it like, worshiping God and just like, especially like songs that kind of talk about that, right? Like leaning onto him and like remembering that he's like right there next to you and like he's in control, because then that brings peace to you, because at least it does like for me, because like here in church too, when you're worshiping, you just kind of forget everything that's going on around you. So it's just kind of like an outlet that brings peace to you. And for me personally, I really like it, especially like with the slow, like peaceful songs. I'm just able to like listen to the lyrics and kind of tell God like, I'm going through it, but you know what? Like, I recognize you're here with me and you're in control. And that will bring us into the last, well, this is just regarding like the last one with peace. So even though we're like going through like all this stress and we're like really tense, God gives us that peace, like how it says in John 14:27. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. So the main part of here is I do not give you as the world gives. So the type of peace that God gives, well, first the type of peace that there is in the world is that where things are going as we want to. So like we'll feel the peace that the world gives is circumstantial. So it depends on the circumstance, right? If everything's going right, like of course you're gonna feel peace. You're gonna feel like everything's okay. But when things are not going okay, the type of peace that the world gives is that it's gone, like it's not even there. But with God, it's the peace that He provides the peace in the middle of the storm. So His type of peace is that even though it's good, we have it, and when things are going very bad or like when we're going through it, then His peace is the one that maintains within us and keeps us grounded. And I didn't put it in here, but He promises these things to us, like that He gives us the peace and that that He would always be there, like how it says I didn't put it in here, but in verse 18, it's like, I will not leave you as orphans, I will come to you. So like, as we also know, like in Matthew, in the end, how it says, I will be with you until the end of time. So God promises that not only will He be there, but like He's in control of everything. So whether it's like school or work or just like our daily lives, because a lot of things happen in our lives, just going back and remembering who gives us that peace and who's going to be with us when things go upside down, and taking that time to, take care of your body and relieving that stress. And that'll be it. Thank you.